Welcome back to the Balance Patch VG Challenge. I am here, Solex Cross, of course, alongside
Jake Nature.
and we are here with the challenge of round 2. And now we're going to be talking about a little bit about round 1, actually, because it was an interesting set that we did see. I did see a very nail-biter situation where we had the Trick Room set up and Tyranitar, and it went for a really solid rock slide on the Primarina, missed. And that's just the game we play. That's how the cookie crumbles. How did you feel about that round?
Yeah, I think it was one really interestingly built team, and one that was closer to the standard. I think both players could have played better, but I mean, I spoke about that already. But it was definitely cool seeing all of those Pokemon get to showcase themselves.
Yeah, there was some cool interactions, some cool stuff for sure, but we have even more cool stuff for this round right here. Let's go ahead and take a look at the teams real quick. And first up, we have Dakota. Oh, no.
We don't.
That's Elena. No. We'll roll Elena first.
So we have Elena on screen here with a relatively standard rain team with that Pelipper, Basculegion, Archaludon team. Choosing for the Mystic Water on Basculegion as opposed to somewhat more common from what I've seen, Choice Band, supported by the Incineroar and the Rillaboom, of course, and a secondary massive damage output in Ursaluna Blood Moon.
I gotta say, I really do like the idea of bringing a Basculegion with that item on. You get the chance to go for Protect, switch things up a little bit. I do like that as an option. But the Choice Band definitely is that power you want, right?
Yeah. So not going to get a power-up on those last respects, but I mean, being able to switch moves, and especially being able to go for Aqua Jets in times when you may not have Tailwind, you may not have Swift Swim, is very, very crucial. And I think that Elena is going to show that not being choiced in is sometimes a much better call.
All right, moving on to Dakota here. We have a pretty cool team as well. Porygon to the Amoonguss, Incineroar, of course, Ursaluna, Flamingo, and Goldango. Such a solid team here. Flamigo is a surprise. What do you think about Flamigo?
Yeah, Flamigo's a Pokemon I didn't really expect to see. And when I saw it, I was like, it's got to be that Co-Star set that it usually is. And then I'm looking at the team, and I'm like, there's no setup. I mean, there's Goldango, but you don't need to Co-Star with Flamigo onto a special Pokemon. But it turns out it's Scrappy, which right now, I mean, as one of a faster fighting type that can also hit those ghost types, notably the Goldango, it's a very, very good pick.
It's a very solid pick indeed. I also like the moves that we got in it. Got the Detect, of course, Close Combat, Brave Bird, such powerful moves to have on a Pokemon, especially when you got that single target option, just nuke that board. Yeah, that sounds good to me. But what I really love is that Wide Guard. Wide Guard being able to protect both of your teammates, and especially with all the Goldangos I've been seeing around today, that might come up.
Yeah, so one other call out I want to make is that Ursaluna actually carrying the move Substitute on this team, which not the first move that comes to mind when I think of Ursaluna, especially because it's not going to be impacted by spores when it's flame orbed. And it's already chipping away at its own health, so bringing Substitute a very interesting call. I'm curious why Dakota has this on his team as opposed to Earthquake or sometimes even Swords Dance. But maybe we'll see an instance where it comes up. You know, it does make it immune to Intimidate behind that Substitute.
Yes, which is pretty big.
But I'm very, very curious what else that's going to be doing for him.
I kind of suspect maybe if you get it out before your opponent is able to position a Rillaboom, they can't just Grassy Glide click that slot, right? Maybe, but we'll see as the game goes on. Right into the match we go.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think a very cool matchup where Elena is going to be doing a lot of damage with that rain setup, while Dakota's going to focus on getting a Trick Room, and we instantly see Flamigo, 2 ducks hit the field. A Flamigo and a Porygon 2. I haven't seen double duck, triple duck on the field since 2017. Wow.
Yeah, right. This is such a callback to the olden days, you know, the old times.
But none of these were the ducks we even saw. Pelipper was one of the ducks, but Flamigo didn't exist yet, and Porygon 2, that was there, but not on this style of team.
Yeah.
That style of team, I should say.
You know, this is actually a very standard start for our good friend Elena, right? Because that's just a solid starting with Archaludon and that Pelipper. It's just so strong in the form of that Rain Dance, and then powering up your special attack after using a charge move. It's really interesting. Pretty standard, though.
So close combat here, going to go right into the Archaladon. Going to do just above half with that stab boost and the life orb boost. Would have taken it out actually had it gone for the Terra here. As I'm going to assume we're going to see an electro shot come out. Is it going to go into this Porygon 2 to try to prevent the Trick Room from going up, or is it just going to be wanting to take out this very, very strong Flamigo?
I could imagine going for Flamingo being better here because you'll guarantee that knockout, but you also don't want your opponent to get a free Trick Room, so into the Porygon 2 that goes. And of course, you did get that boost, so it might be even stronger next turn, and that stamina boost is going to pay dividends. Here comes the Trick Room.
Yeah, so Trick Room up here, and we did see that Flamigo was the fastest thing on the field. So Dakota getting up Trick Room and kind of putting Flamigo on the back foot that it stands on here. We have Archaladon and the Pelipper, which can both threaten one-hit KOs onto the Flamigo, and Porygon 2, I don't think is able to pick up a KO on either of these Pokemon.
No, it's a very precarious position that you're in now. Very smart decision not to take out Flamigo in that first turn, because now we can get a KO here and maybe perhaps get a KO on Flamigo as well. But maybe that's not going to happen as we switch out. Losing the stamina boost, we're going to bring in Incineroar. Interesting. Going to debuff Flamigo, try to resist or dampen some. Oh, wait, that's right. No decrease because Incineroar does have. Wait.
Scrappy.
Scrappy, that's
Flamigo
right.
has Scrappy.
That's right, Scrappy.
So Weather Ball going out into Flamigo here after the close combat drops is enough to pick up the KO. Doesn't even need to go for the Hurricane there. Possibly saying, okay, what if something like Ursaluna comes in here, I can get super effective damage. Knowing that that rain boosted Weather Ball was going to be enough after the drops, very good to go for there. Had a Moongus come in, which it definitely wouldn't have with the threat of a Hurricane. I think going for Weather Ball there was a very good call. And now this Incineroar is on the field with a very free Fake Out. And Pelipper, not usually known for being the big damage on the team, is able to threaten a lot of damage right now.
Yeah, that's very scary. A Protect coming out from Pelipper, gonna make sure it stays safe in this upcoming round. But I'm interested in what we went for with Incineroar Spore going into that Pelipper slot. Not gonna do anything this turn. But what is this Incineroar doing? Oh, okay, Terra into the Pelipper slot. That was a good Protect here. Definitely wanted to double in. There's a knockoff. Gonna take off that item on a Moongus here.
Yeah, so Moongus getting its Covert Cloak knocked off. Elena's seeing, I can't go for Fake Out into that Amoonguss. I don't really have a reason to Fake Out the Porygon 2. Let me just get some damage off. And with the safety goggles, knowing that Incineroar was saved on this turn, Elena gonna be pressed to make a switch here or let Pelipper go to sleep.
Yeah, and I don't imagine this Incineroar doing a whole lot either because we're in the rain and that Flare Blitz is just not going to do as much damage to Amoonguss as they would want. Oh well, here comes Archaladon in, and yeah, it seems like that Spore went into that slot, so because we have that grass typing, it's just not going to do anything here, but we will get the knockout regardless. That does cover both options. Well done, and now there goes Archaladon right back out.
Yeah, so I think Porygon 2 really benefiting strongly from that special attack boost that it gained on turn 1 from download. Pelipper and Archaladon much lower in their special defenses than they are in their actually very high defenses. Going to allow that Porygon 2 to pick up the knockout. Dakota putting a bit of a pin on Elena there, where Elena, got the Archaladon switched in, ignored the Spore, but was then put in a situation where, Terra Blast just got the KO. Being able to pivot out Incineroar here, though, is going to allow Incineroar to hit the field again, go for a Fake Out that Amoonguss was not going to be able to deal with, but also wouldn't have been able to deal with had the knockoff not come out previously, knocking off the Covert Cloak. So Basket Legion here now in the rain with a heavy Wave Crash could pick up the KO on the Porygon 2 and not threatened with redirection thanks to an Incineroar Fake Out here.
Yeah, the speed stats are still kind of reversed thanks to this Trick Room. How many turns do we have left on that?
I believe two
turns
are
went
left
by?
if I'm counting
Yeah.
correctly. But Dakota just not putting out really any offensive pressure, especially not into this Basket Legion.
No, not
as
at all.
Incineroar's free Fake Out here is going to be strong, and a bit of a sitting duck Porygon 2 might be.
Okay, well, that's why we see the Porygon 2 coming right back out, switching into... Whoa, that's an interesting name there. Okay, it's going to be Yogi Bear. Fake Out. Yep, nothing's going to come out from Elena's side here, but now we get to see what this Basket Legion can do with this powerful Wave Crash. into the Ursaluna slot. That's a one-hit knockout. There goes Yogi Bear.
Yeah.
Couldn't find his Sunny RC.
Yeah, bring out the duck boats for that wave crash, because that is one Ursaluna that's off the field and is never going to be a threat to Elena again.
Especially with the dimensions returning to normal.
Yeah, so Elena putting herself in a really good position here. Incineroar not really affected by the Amoonguss, and the Porygon 2 unable to do any meaningful damage to the Basculegion. Now without any offense on Dakota's side, really, gonna be a tricky one where Incineroar can probably get a knockoff into the Porygon 2 if she wants to, get off that Eviolite. Amoonguss going to be threatened by that Pelipper, so it's going to be interesting how Elena manages dealing with Spores and redirection here. But Dakota, again, just not having a lot of offense in the tank. Going to be possibly a slow endgame with this.
Amoonguss going for the Rage Power, redirecting all those attacks into itself. This will give Porygon a chance to reset that Trick Room. Last Respect's coming in play. Not enough damage here, but that Flare Blitz will be more than enough to take out the knockout. Goodbye, Amoonguss. And now it's all up to a little lonesome Porygon.
Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier, Porygon 2 not going to be able to do much meaningful damage to Basculegion, carrying Terra Blast and Ice Beam, which are not able to hit Basculegion for very effective damage and is immune to Terra Blast unless a Terra comes out here. And even if it does Terra, I believe Terra Poison, that's resisted by Basculegion's Ghost typing. So Elena doing a really good job putting herself in this position, taking out the threats very early on, and leaving Dakota with his support Pokemon not able to do a lot.
Yeah, it definitely feels like a quick cleanup is in still, but just lasting a little bit longer. Porygon is an incredibly bulky Pokemon. Gonna stick around, try to maybe get information on what moves they want to go for, but I can definitely see this ending rather quickly.
Yeah, so Ice Beam going out into the Basculegion there, not getting the freeze that Dakota had needed to possibly stay in this game as a parting shot comes out from Incineroar. Going to be able to reset the weather with Pelipper coming out onto the field, as well as get a Fake Out again, which will allow for faking out the Porygon 2 so it can't recover on a turn, or get a Trick Room,
or do
all
anything
that jazz.
more inconvenient. Yeah.
Will speed up this endgame. So Elena going for the Flare Blitz and Last Respects earlier on that Amoonguss. Just some insurance, making sure that that Pokemon went down because it didn't have Protect, making sure that Elena put herself in a spot where I'm just against Porygon 2. Porygon 2 can't really do much against my Pokemon. I'm going to end this one right here, right now. Again, I think some Spores needed to come out, but with the Trick Room not being able to stay up long enough, Amoonguss was not able to put that Basculegion to sleep.
I think the biggest problem here for that Ursaluna was that it just didn't get a chance to do anything. It was a very good read. Both Pokemon targeted down. Oh, well, actually, it was just the Basculegion targeting down with that one Wave Crash. It was all you needed. And now you're in a situation where I have no offense.
Yeah.
How do I win the game? So then at the second round, we're going to have to figure out what we want to do in order to get back into this game, because that game one didn't look too hot.
Yeah, I think one thing to reflect on from that game one is a few small things that Elena did, which was, one is go for the knockoff onto Amoonguss in a situation where you could have gone for, I believe, maybe a Fake Out or a parting shot, but knowing you need to clear that Covert Cloak so you can cycle that Fake Out later saved her big time.
Yes, it did.
Another thing that was not an in-game adjustment, but an adjustment in team building, was having that Basculegion having access to that Protect, which we, talked about beforehand.
Yes, we did.
Is it going to come into play? Yes, it did. It stalled out the last turn of Trick Room so crucially, where Dakota could have easily, had there not been a Protect, put a Spore onto that Basculegion, recovered up Porygon 2, and definitely been back in the game in a much different position than he was. But because of that Protect, was not able to do anything of that sort.
So true, so true. And having the options to choose is always better than not, right? Being locked into an attack or a choice scarf or a choice band is always the best case scenario for you.
Yeah. So I think Elena didn't make the best use of her Terrastellization there. I mean, maybe some good use in the fact that Archaludon would have gotten KO'd on turn 1. So maybe pretty good. But didn't get to utilize it outside of that.
Well,
So I think it did actually help her quite a bit getting that damage off onto Porygon 2. Dakota, we actually didn't see Terra that entire game.
Yeah.
So probably going to want to be a bit more proactive with that instead of, reactive with his defensive typings.
yeah, this is exactly why we saw the leads change, but Elena going ahead and retreating this Bastion Legion anyway. Gonna bring back out this Incineroar to get some debuffs?
Yeah, so I think not going for the debuffs as much as she is going for, I am putting my safety goggles on the field. I do not want to get scored on Bastion Legion. I do not want my move getting redirected. And I think Dakota already making great use of that terrestrialization, saying, okay, I cannot take this Pelipper's Hurricane,
No, I can't.
and I'm not going to try. What I'm going to do instead is Rage Powder away any move that might want to go into the Golden Go, as Hurricane does go into the Amoonguss, which would have been a KO. It would not have been even a KO had that not terrestrialized, as the Golden Go is able to get up a nasty plot for itself. And I mean, not threatening a huge amount of damage onto the two Pokemon that are on the field with a Make It Rain. But Incineroar is, with those safety goggles, able to do some considerable amount of pressure, or deal a significant amount of pressure onto that Golden Go.
Yeah, and I don't like that we do have this rain in play, because now we can't just safely go for a Flare Blitz. But we do see Goldango go for a Protect. Hurricane back into this slot. Are we going to be confused? No confusion. Knockoff, of course, just doubling down on the Amoonguss, making sure a Spore does not come out. Very well played. But now Goldango didn't get a chance to do anything. Went for a Protect, expecting some attacks to go into that slot. But now the situation has completely been diverted. But hey, Flamigo coming in. That sounds fun.
Yeah, a huge call out from Elena there. I alluded to it a little right before the turn played out, but Goldango wasn't pressuring a huge amount of damage onto Incineroar.
Right.
And Elena knew that and just said, you know what? Amoonguss is going to be a hassle for me if I can't get it off the field, and it's going to be able to spore my Pelipper. I need to keep my Focus Sash intact. I need to keep my Pelican awake. I need to get this Amoonguss off the field, and a Protect coming out really making that call even better for her.
Even better, because now this Pokemon did nothing at all, and I got off with these moves scot-free. Excellent threat sentiment from Elena. Very good, very good.
Yeah, so a Terra coming out here. It is going to be the Incineroar going into a Terra Ghost type. Scrappy is going to allow these fighting moves to still hit. Not going to be able to resist that Make It Rain anymore, though. As Flamigo just going for a Detect here, which is an interesting maneuver. As Pelipper, the fastest thing on the field, actually, faster than this Golden Go, went for a Tailwind. And Incineroar goes for a knockoff into the Golden Go.
Not enough for that one-hit knockout, but still a hefty amount of damage done to this Goldango. As this Shadow Ball goes right into Pelipper, that's going to activate that Focus Sash. But this Tailwind is going to be huge, because now we see that Incineroar is faster than Goldango.
Not only do we see that, but Flamigo, not known for having many stats,
Yeah.
As strong as its offensive typing is, as strong as its ability is, not the hardest hitter, not the greatest at surviving. And Pelipper's Hurricane probably going to be able to deal with that Flamigo. As we saw that first knockoff, is going to be able to finish off that Golden Go if it goes into that slot. Hurricane does come out.
And that's a one-hit knockout from Pelipper. This is looking like Elena's game more and more.
Yeah, Elena's playing this perfectly.
Perfectly. There's nothing else you can really say about it. This is a bad position to be in for Dakota.
Yeah, absolutely no notes here. Pelipper can even get the knockout on Golden Go at this point with the Weather Ball, and Elena can get a knockoff onto Porygon 2 and deal with this. I don't think Dakota has a way into this game. I think, Dakota just got his soul read by Elena.
It's like an open book, open note policy, baby.
Yeah, no. We might have to check if Elena was stream peeking. I'm joking, of course.
Just standing up and looking at the screen like, all right, what are you doing? All right, that sounds fun.
Yeah, Golden Go going for another Protect here is going to fail. That was the possibility of getting back into the game. So possibly a Golden Go that's slow enough such that Trick Room would benefit it, but is going to go down here as Porygon 2 is going to be able to get up Trick Room after a knockoff for all of its trouble. And Elena, she has taken damage in this game in the form of Pelipper. But outside of that, this is just not looking to go Dakota's way, and this is going to be probably a pretty fast endgame.
Yeah, Porygon against the world once again. Well, not exactly. In that first round, it was 3v1, but this is much worse.
4v1.
4v1. And Porygon has some impressive broke, but not without an Eviolite, which was just knocked off. So
Yeah.
I definitely see this as an over game. This is it. Like, I'm surprised we're still even playing it now.
Yeah, absolutely. And Basculegion, the Pokemon that can just deal with this Porygon 2 so perfectly, is on the field now. As a parting shot onto Porygon 2 just to play optimally. Elena is not backing down at all, not letting the 4v1 get to her head, saying, I don't care. I am going to play this to the best of my ability. I am on stream. I am going to show what I can do. As Pelipper comes in to reset that rain for her and put Basculegion's Wave Crash on another level of damage output.
Yes, playing perfectly. There goes the run. Excellent game from Dakota and Elena. Very well played. Tough match, especially for Dakota here. Not much you can really do. I feel like your soul was just red.
Yeah.
They had your number. And that's okay. That's the part of the game, too. That happens sometimes. But, yeah, Elena on fire.
Yeah, I think that Elena just, again, played that incredibly. Dakota really needed to focus on getting up that Trick Room and, Golden Go got a Nasty Plot up and got a Shadow Ball off.
Yeah.
But overall just didn't have what it took to get rid of a lot of these Pokemon.
Yeah, after that read on
Flamigo going
Ursaluna,
for that Detect, I think, was a big part of where Dakota fell short.
Yes. That was a turn you needed to be more offensive. You had to do some more damage. You had to put something on the board. Because this whole game, we were playing defensive. We weren't doing much of anything. It was defensive switches, maybe positioning, Trick Room, but nothing really serious. That Spore was trying to get positioned, right? We tried to get Amoonguss to Spore something, but Elena was on top of that the whole time. Was not letting any of her Pokemon fall asleep, just getting this done, right?
Yeah.
And we really felt that.
Didn't
we
let
really
Amoonguss
felt
do
that.
Amoonguss things.
No.
But yeah, had Dakota gone for an offensive play there, would have been more of a game. I don't know how much it would have
impacted
in the long run. But had damage come out into that Incineroar, a lot would be different.
Either way, excellent game to both players. Stay tuned. We do have more coming for you. We'll be right back.